Favorite thing to be is skinny. And I fear you cannot say that out loud, but it is my favorite thing to be, and it is my favorite fear to not be.
Hi beautiful people, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So on TikTok, Slim Kim made a video about loving her skinny body, and people had different reactions and it triggered different conversations. So we're going to hear what people had to say, and then I'll come back and give my opinion on it.
And this is just for me personally. This is all personal to me. But I just wanted to say it out loud because honestly, it's all I think about. It's all I think about. Okay.
Listen, I know that girl Slim Kim came on here and said that all she thinks about is being slim and being skinny. And listen, I ain't here to talk about that, but what I'm here to talk about is, you want to know what I think about night and day, day and night? I want small titties. I want to be commander-in-chief, mayor of, Secretary of State for the itty bitty titty committee. That's what I wanted. That's what I want. That's what I need. Okay? Yeah, being skinny's nice. Not that I've ever experienced it, but I'm sure it's nice. But I want small tatas. That's what I want. We're talking about the wrong thing here. We're talking about the wrong obsession. If we're gonna have conversations, let's have the conversations that matter. I'm sorry. Call me a hater, but Slim Kim's video about how she's so happy she's skinny did bother me. And I think it is weird. I also find it so interesting that she felt comfortable making this video after the election, because there is a correlation. What we're going to start to see is so many people clinging on to whatever perception of privilege that they have as a means of social advancement. But back to Slim Kim. She knows what she was trying to say. You know what she was trying to say. We all understand what she was trying to say. And I at least wish that y'all would be comfortable and stand on it and stop trying to make it seem like we're just taking it the wrong way. Because the reality is, she's only happy to be skinny and, thinks about being skinny all day is because she believes that there's some perception, some privilege that's attached to her skinniness. And whenever someone tries to use privilege as an example, with me at least, the question that I always ask is, where in your life can you show me the benefit of this privilege? What have you accomplished as a result of this privilege? Anyways, that's just how I feel. If you are happy that you're skinny, and you feel, and that's all that you think about, and you get to have a better existence on earth with your skinniness, then I guess go for it. Enjoy.
My favorite thing to be is skinny. Why wouldn't it be? It's the only thing women have learned from the media, fashion, and the wellness industry that profits off of our insecurity. I'm not here to say that you should be one size or another. I am 5'2", and there's a certain size and weight that I feel most comfortable, that allows me to be active and do the things that I want to do. The criticism here is that you're not saying the whole story. Why? Why is your favorite thing to be is skinny? Where does that belief come from, and who does it serve the most? We need to understand this, that going against the grain, going against what the patriarchy and what capitalism and what the advertising industry has told us since the day we were born, takes a great amount of courage, consciousness, of self-awareness. The issue with something like this, it reduces identity, and it only supports current systems of oppression that already exist. And we ask ourselves why kids are the way they are, why they vote the way they do. They're not like us when we were that age. Are we being the best role models? That's also a question that we should invite into the conversation.
As somebody who grew up fat and then got skinny and now I'm just mid-sized, I definitely understand the power of being skinny. I can see how somebody would never ever want to be fat again, right? But one thing I've learned from being skinny and being mid-sized again is that when you really got a lethal face card, you don't need to be skinny. Skinny is for average looking hoes, right? If you just got a regular mug, then yeah, you need to be skinny. When you average looking, being skinny your only trump card, right? But when you got a killer mug, right? When that face card knock folks out, no matter what you got on, you don't need to be skinny. If you go into a store with nothing on, looking beat up bum, and people still staring at your face, like people are still mesmerized when you walk by, you don't need to be skinny. Being thin is just a single part of the beauty standard. But when you are truly beautiful, being skinny is just a plus, you know? Just like, oh, people are like, oh, she got a nice body, but that face though? People wage wars over faces like that. You know what I mean? Truly beautiful people do not need to be real thin. They don't. They just don't. I'm not saying they could just be big as fuck, but they definitely don't have to be worried about being skinny. They can definitely be mid to slightly thicker. They can. The face card gonna trump the body card every time if it's like that. I'd rather be big with a killer mug than skinny with an average face. Any day. Any day. True beauty has nothing to do with physique, right? The weight standard for women changes throughout the ages. But that face card, beauty, the golden ratio, that don't go away. That's forever. People know true beauty when they see it, and it don't have nothing to do with size. Mind you, I used to be obsessed with being thin. Like, I get it. To an extent, I'm still kind of obsessed with making sure my body is right. But over the last 2 years, I was gaining weight, and I didn't even notice because my face card was still killing hoes. My face card was still carrying me through life. And because I was young, like when I was young, I was fat, and it just don't hit the same when you young. People don't understand true beauty in middle school and elementary school. But once you hit 18, everybody know what true beauty is. They know a beautiful mug when they see one. So I didn't even know I was gaining weight. My mug was just carrying me through life. I'm like, damn, I must really be thick, slim, thick, fine, ass, fat, voluptuous. Meanwhile, I'm pushing 215. A face card will carry you through life if you got it. If you got it, you just need to maintain. Like, you just need to maintain. You don't have to be the skinniest bitch alive. You don't need to have abs. You got the mug, you got it. Anything else, just icing on the cake. It just is. I wouldn't want to be fat again because there's still power in being slim, but I would never want to be skinny and average looking or skinny and ugly. I see my exes pop out with girls with, slim to nice bodies, but they don't got the mug though. They not touching me. I don't even care. If we both walk into a room, they gonna choose me. That's not even on no cocky shit, right? You know when you got that mug, right? Your reality, your life every day confirms it. You can't make up having the mug. Like, you can't pretend to have the mug, bro. You can make yourself skinny. You can dress nice, right? You can do all of that. You can do your makeup good. But ain't none of that ever gonna defeat a bitch with the mug, with the face, with the beauty. It's just never gonna happen. It's just never gonna happen. Oh yeah, being skinny is cool and being skinny is currency, especially for average looking people. But truly beautiful people, you know what your currency is.
Being slim is the only thing that you ever have to offer in your life. If that is your highest trophy, I hate to see the person you would become after having a baby or going through a hormone change or just going through anything that slightly even changes the way you look and how people will treat you. I hate to see it for you. And I think that basing your entire personality off of that, you have done such a great disservice to yourself, okay? There are so many more important things than being appealing to men. Yeah, and that's what this is at the end of the day. It might be so ingrained in you that you think it's not, but I promise you, it always is. I also understand, though, I have a very interesting point of view because I've been fat for a lot of my life and I've lost hundreds of pounds, if not. And I've seen how people treat me much kinder when I'm slimmer, if I can call it slim. But all of that to say is, I'm glad I have a personality. Okay, bye.
All about to let a skinny ass agent of chaos that tried to sit there and play in another black woman's face when it came to the topical fucking discussion, right? Why do y'all keep letting that woman be an agent of chaos on this fucking app? Why do y'all keep letting that very, very obvious, I grew up in a PWI and I don't really have black friends, and when I finally did get black friends, I still have some deconstructing to do? That's the type of black girl vibes I get from her. You still lying about using lip filler and gaslighting, saying, oh, black women have full lips. There's full lips and then there's filler lips, and I'm still gonna stand on that. Allegedly, I think that bitch has fucking lip filler, and it looks fucking horrible. It looks fucking horrible because she has those lines right there, those lip flip lines, and I'm not gonna let her continue to play in people's faces. That bitch has fucking lip filler, and it looks bad. She's one of them, and we're gonna see a lot more of them. I think y'all need to understand what virtue signaling is. I think y'all need to understand what a dog whistle is. I think y'all need to recognize patterns of behavior, and it's hard to do that on this app because this app likes to sit in a world of what ifs and what about isms and not fucking reality. And we've been seeing that same clique of black TikTok, that same group of people say some shit lately, and they've been really awful with their fucking takes, and it's a couple of them. And I told you I blocked the Light Bright crew, but I'm gonna make it the Brown Paper Bag crew, because we're gonna see people who benefit from these white supremacist views start leaning more into that now that we are going to be in a full-on fascist country, which it's always been fascist, but now that we're leaning like head on into it, you're gonna see your faves that I've been telling you are fucking ops and have been switching up lately really lean into that. And what's so unfortunate about critiquing other black creators is there's the non-emotionally intelligent people, the people who don't understand nuance and context, that will just minimize it down to, you just want views, you just want clicks, you're just doing this for attention. Like, no. I think a lot of y'all's faves on here, especially when it comes to our space of black TikTok, they've gotten a little big-headed. They got their little podcast equipment. They have, even when they have a bad take, they have 500,000 of you running to the comments to defend them and tell them that we're just fucking haters and looking for clout. It's really hard to hold your faves accountable because y'all will sit there in the comments and bullshit for them. It's very weird. Y'all have a very weird parasocial relationship with a lot of these black content creators. And we need to call out the weird shit that we're seeing, because when I said when it comes to organizing, I need to know that you're not going to be a fucking op. So when Slim Kim came out there and said, I like being skinny, it's bothering me how many of you didn't pick up on that she's an agent of chaos and has always been on this fucking app when it started with the fucking topical shit. She's that same one that's trying to convince y'all that she still does not get fucking lip filler, that she's just a black woman with full lips and we don't know what black with full lips is. Like, bitch, it's filler. And we can tell because you have those lines. I know people like naturally have those smile lines, but you can tell when someone has a lip flip line. The cosmetic girlies know. And it looks fucking horrible, allegedly, because I'm not going to put that on her. But she is a master manipulator. If you've watched her content long enough, I unfollowed her. I couldn't watch her anymore because her takes give, I grew up in a PWI and I didn't deconstruct. I grew up in a PWI. I used to be insufferable like that. But then I had to get black friends and remember that I'm fucking black. And I know that black is not a monolith, but that type of black is a red flag. I can't root for everybody black because some black people on this app are the fucking op. Some of y'all are doing everything because you know you have a brand and you know you've gotten too many strikes or flags, whatever, for keeping it real. So now you have to be fucking neutral. You have to be obtuse. You have to be whatever. You have to try and use big words to make your point sound more believable, but it's still just bullshit. That shit that's coming out of your mouth is bullshit. It's fat phobia. That's what it is. It's fat phobia. There's nothing wrong with saying you love being skinny, but y'all didn't catch who the fuck it was. If it was anybody else, if it was anybody else, that take would have been genuine. But it was her.
The collective outcry on this app when Slim Kim came out and said what most fat people know that many skinny people think is just indicative that we are not mentally prepared for the shift of conservatism that is happening in this country. The rise in body fascism, the narrowing down of what is seen as beautiful or what is seen as an acceptable way to look has been happening for some time now. If I'm being real, it started with the deer versus doe eyes versus siren eyes versus dark feminine versus all of that. It's a pipeline. Do you have cat face or deer face turned into let's turn our faces to the side and analyze the slopes of our noses like fucking eugenicists? And I think that because we are so used to seeing the alt-right pipeline as marketed towards men, it's more difficult to recognize and understand when it's being marketed towards us in beauty spaces. It's not a coincidence that all of a sudden skinny people are coming out and declaring that they love being skinny. It is not a coincidence that brands that formerly claimed to care about diversity or whatever are rolling back on their darker skin tone. People are now openly saying the R slur on social media again like it's normal. All of a sudden it's become accepted to declare on this app that you don't care about Palestinian people and their genocide. As we scroll and consume and even participate in social media, we need to be engaging in critical thought. Media literacy is dead. Can we revive it, please?
So I've been seeing the whole Slim Kim topic and her saying that she loves being skinny, and she said like it's her best or favorite status symbol or something, and like people are saying, oh, life is better when you're skinny, and people treat you better, and like blah 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 blah, right? This has started a whole conversation. I don't mind that people are saying these things. That's your life experience, so you can talk about your own experience. What I have a problem with is people are not discussing this with care. They're just saying these words of how life is better when you're thin and people treat you different, and there's no care with how they're saying it. We have young people on this app, young girls on this app. 21 is young. If we have a 21-year-old girl and we see her with a 30-something-year-old man, we're like, girl, get away from him. He's manipulating you because your frontal lobe is not fully developed. Yeah. So saying certain things and putting that information out there with no tact, no care on how you're saying it, you could be speaking to people who their frontal lobe is not fully developed. I come from a time when girls wanted to be double zeros. Jessica Simpson was like a 5 or 6 and they was telling her she's fat. I know, okay, all about the stress of wanting to be thin. And it's never going to go away. This society wants you to be thin. And I feel like we have to talk about that subject with care, because people will kill themselves to be thin. They'll be in the gym for hours. They're not really getting into nutrition like they're supposed to. They're going to get teas and this and that to like lose weight. And that's the only issue that I have with it, is that the people that I have seen speaking on this are not speaking on it from a place of compassion and care and empathy, and like making sure that they don't put out a toxic message that's going to affect a young girl. We have to remember these young girls have it 10 times worse than us because they have social media. They're seeing everything at a higher rate, and they have access to things that we didn't have access to, as far as like weight loss drugs. So that's my only take on it. Like, everybody, you're allowed to speak on it, but speak on it with a little bit of care. Think about if you had a little sister or whatever. You would not want her hearing, oh, everybody treats me better because I'm thin. And she's 10 pounds overweight, or she thinks she's overweight, and she's going to damn near kill herself to lose 10 pounds.
Please let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, but please keep it respectful. Now, I wish everybody that staged this was talking about something that they love about themselves, and I'm sure we would have a different kind of a thread, because I, for example, I'm skinny, but I always wanted to have bigger tits growing up. But having friends with bigger tits and realizing that they bounce on you when you're going down the stairs, I'm glad I have small tits, but we can't base all conversations around being the same. And I'm glad how she put it, because it was a very light-hearted and playful kind of way to engage in this conversation, because I have seen topics like elections being brought into a conversation about someone embracing their body, because isn't this what body positivity is all about? I understand that when someone else talks about different privileges that they enjoy, for example, the girl who was on the internet talking about how her mom was using a Birkin bag as a diaper bag, it can be taken as a certain way. Nobody's going to be so happy that you're talking about your privilege and how much you enjoy having that privilege, but we should also be accepting of people just existing and saying things that represent them, and just respecting that without having to feel that we need to be included in the statement they just said, because there's so many issues to be tackled, but no one person can tackle all of them. Another thing I want to point out about this topic as she's discussing it is privilege. Sometimes privileges, quote unquote, like being skinny, they may only come up in comparison. As someone who has grown up skinny all my life, and in an area where the preferred type is slim thick with an ass, if I start loving myself, I love myself, but if I start posting about how much I love my skinny body, should I also start catering to other body types too, so that nobody feels left out? I'm realizing that there's this assumption about skinny people that you either didn't have this body all your life, or you have not had any issues or any body shaming happening just because you're skinny, and everything that you know now as a skinny person has come from the media. You know, every skinny person can tell you how many times their wrists have been measured by how many fingers can I wrap around my pinky to my thumb on your hand, and telling you to go eat a burger. This creator questions where the belief that that Slim Kim has arises from, because she also states that it reduces identity and supports the current level of oppression that exists. And it seems like we're not just talking about somebody embracing their body type. It's like we're talking about women's rights to work, because I don't see how somebody expressing how they love their body oppresses the next person. It's almost ironic because she adds that we're supposed to be good role models for the little ones. And role models is not skinny shaming your skinny cousins or your bigger cousins. It's just embracing everybody, being a good example that you can be big and happy with your body, you can be skinny and love it. Now, this next creator just grinded my gears listening to her, because she swapped one kind of body shaming for the other one. Not that it was in the topic, because Slim Kim just said this was her personal opinion on herself. But this lady came to say that she had very, very interesting opinions, because if you're not conventionally attractive, she says you need to be skinny. She kept repeating the fact that if you're pretty, then you don't need to be skinny. First of all, nobody needs to be skinny. You should try your best to be healthy as possible, but nobody needs to be skinny. Okay? Because first of all, beauty is very subjective, and self-love is personal. Now, this creator also mentioned that when she was a big girl, she was obsessed with being thin. And it's the hypocrisy, because now that you are mid-size and you're hitting on people who are embracing their skinniness, already where you wanted to be, and calling other people big as fuck, that is not so body positive. Body positivity wasn't just about embracing big sizes. It's also about respecting people and their faces. There was another creator too that was talking about appealing to the male validation by embracing your skinniness or yearning to be skinny. But I don't know why we are acting like men only see one way. People have very different tastes. There's somebody for everyone. So if you just conclude that somebody got skinny for the male gaze, are you saying something we don't know? Or are you just projecting? There was one other creator that was talking about putting information out on the internet and speaking with care and consideration for the people whose prefrontal cortex hasn't developed just yet, which is basically like kids, anyone below 20 or below 25. But I also think that, and this is a discourse that I've been seeing with different topics and different people on the internet, people need to parent their kids or walk into the world with discernment. Not everybody is going to choose what you watch, what you listen, what is in the movie that you're going to be watching. You have to pick and choose what is for you and what does not work for you. Because most people have been taking this For You page very literally. It's like it's created and curated for you, and nothing should be offensive to you. What is said should only cover what you're interested in. But we do not exist in a vacuum. And for us to embrace one type of people or one body size, we have to also understand that the opposite side of the conversation also exists. And when it comes to things like body types and all of that, trends change and beauty standards just shift from time to time, but bodies will always remain the same, mostly for some people, because like me, I have been skinny since I was small, a grown woman now, and I'm still very skinny. But for some people, they can be able to fluctuate from one size to another. Some may be easier, some may not be. But this is why now body positivity should be more about just loving your body, irrespective of the trends and the beauty standards, and just respecting how others perceive themselves. Because you cannot love and respect yourself and be proud of your features and just embracing them, but hating on the next person and saying, nah. I do agree with this creator when she says that if that's the only thing that you have to offer, which is like your body and what good parts of it that you are embracing or you're fronting, but can we also realize that nobody is perfect, and sometimes you will have one thing that people compliment so much and it becomes that one thing that you're so proud to have because it's what people compliment. There's a lady here who has beautiful hair, and if she came onto the internet to say, I love my beautiful hair, people like me who have struggled to grow their hair cannot complain and say, why are you showing that off? Don't you know how hard it is for some of us to grow hair? You know, same to like teeth. I look at people's teeth and I'm like, oh my God, they look so good. So if someone went on the internet and said how much they love their teeth, should the rest of the people who have misaligned dental say something about it? We have to let other people be and also ourselves be. Let's also learn to love and appreciate ourselves so that when someone else expresses how much they love themselves, it doesn't feel like it's a jab or a trigger towards you or something about you. We should give people the space to be themselves so that we can also be ourselves. Like and subscribe.